Hello and welcome to ET Auto and to this episode of Target Net Zero, a discussion series where we have meaningful, insightful conversations with leaders from the Indian and global automotive industry on the crucial topics of carbon neutrality and sustainability. It's my pleasure to welcome Sabine Jaskula, board member and chief human resources officer at the 38 billion euro global tier one major ZF group, to today's episode. Welcome to the show, Sabine.
Hi, Sumantra. I'm very pleased to be here today.
To start off with, Sabine, this whole theme of sustainability or carbon neutrality is very overarching. Could you tell us what are the focused approaches that the ZF group is taking to achieve or to advance towards these goals of carbon neutrality and sustainability?
Well, I mean, carbon neutrality or sustainability as a whole, is a really integral part of ZF's next generation mobility strategy. It is really vital and very important for us. And as you certainly know, or probably know, we have committed a goal to become carbon neutral across the full value chain until 2040. Important side note, maybe right to start the discussion, we want to achieve our goals with technical solutions and not with carbon offsetting or simply by buying certificates. I mean, certainly this is a quite ambitious target, 2040, but we have already set up a roadmap with clear targets for all three emission scopes. Scope 1 is the emissions from our own plants, Scope 2, the emissions resulting from energy we purchase, and Scope 3, our supply chain and the use phase of our products. So our approach actually has been approved by the Science-Based Target Initiative to be consistent with the 1.5 degree goal of the Paris Agreement. And what have we done now? You want to know what are the concrete steps and the targets? Well, we have defined clear roadmaps how to achieve this target, this ambitious target. So firstly, we have said we want to achieve a very, very consequent reduction of energy use by increasing efficiency of our operations. So all our plants, and we have more than 200 plants worldwide, have received a target of 2% reduction per year, resulting in 20% overall by 2030. And actually, we have been quite successful already last year. We have achieved this target. The second topic is switch to green energy completely. We want to achieve that by 2030. And by 2025, we already want to have achieved 40%. How do we do that? Of course, by purchasing green energy, but we have also, we have really established a green power roadmap, which is mainly based on so-called PPAs, power purchase agreements. The power purchase agreements are long-term delivery contracts with energy providers like wind and solar parks. And if I may, as we talk about wind, I would like to point out that our wind power driveline technology has developed very positively since 2013. Actually, our sales have risen from 230 million to 1 billion. And interesting, maybe for you, 1/3 of that is coming from our Coimbatore plant in India, right, with more than 1,200 people working there. And I think we are very positive with regards to a further increase with regards to the strong growth of green energy that will be needed globally. And what concerns me a little bit, and I guess that you may share that, is that we very slowly progress in Europe and Germany due to bureaucratic hurdles and regulations that make it difficult to advance with green energy. Right. So that's a slight concern here. But overall, just to give an example, to make it a little bit more tangible, the ZF wind turbines that we have installed worldwide with a capacity of 150 gigawatt, they could power, just theoretically, they could power more than 100 million electric vehicles. So that's really a statement, I think. And so we are already a big contributor to climate improvement, climate neutrality.
And talking about carbon neutrality, you also mentioned about next-gen mobility. Mobility industry, as we all know, is undergoing a good evolution and a fast evolution at that. So could you throw some light on, specific to mobility, what are the kind of efforts that ZF is making to make mobility not only cleaner and greener, but also more sustainable?
Well, of course, our overall product portfolio is our greatest lever in terms of climate protection and sustainability. Last year, we continued to invest very high numbers into our future projects and raised our R&D expenses to record level, actually. So we invested over 3 billion, which is corresponding to a sales share of 8%. Yeah? And we have seen a clear increase year over year. So the technological focus was certainly on efficient drives for electric vehicles, but also on software architecture and electronic products.
Right.
Where we also have invested is the human resources capacities in our R&D area. So in 2021, we employed approximately 24,000 R&D employees in our 18 main development locations. They all grew last year. And in particular, again, referring to India,
yes.
our tech center in Hyderabad grew by almost 800 employees to a size of 2,500. And that's not the end. We are very keen on hiring more talented people in India. And certainly, we also invested a lot into the competencies of our people. As with regards to the fast technological change, software and e-mobility technology, we have started our biggest qualification initiative in ZF's history last year, which we call E-Academy.
Okay.
What is that? It's a virtual learning platform that offers self-paced personal learning journeys with multidimensional information and upskilling regarding e-mobility. Currently, 13,000 people are attending, and we expect more to join when we roll out the program globally.
Okay. And so this program will be rolled out to markets like India as well?
Yeah, of course. At the moment, we have rolled it out only for our e-mobility division, so globally already, but this will be available then for all employees globally and for all divisions within ZF.
You mentioned...
And I actually participated myself, so everybody can join, and it's really interesting. You can choose your own learning path and the speed how you want to learn and what you want to learn. So it's really very enlightening, and also for me quite an experience, I have to say.
Right. You mentioned about really ramping up investments on R&D and also and enhancing the manpower of your technical centers, including in India. Tell us, what's the kind of role you think you expect ZF expects the India base, the India Technology Center base to play as the company progresses, as the industry evolves in this very disruptive era?
Well, we have actually great plans for India. So the strategy and the vision for India is we want to position ourselves as #2 automotive supplier in India by 2030. And you may know that we already employ 15,000 employees in India. We have roughly above 900 million sales, 18 manufacturing units, 9 development centers, and of course we have the big tech center in Hyderabad, which will be growing. So what do we plan in concrete? We want to increase our sales to 3 billion. We want to outperform the market, obviously. Certainly, we want to have high profitability with all our product lines in India. We want to raise our supplier base to source 5% of global purchasing volume from India. And of course, like I already mentioned, we want to further develop our Indian engineering team, very highly regarded for the frugal engineering, designing and developing products to suit the market with our currently 3,500 engineers in India, which we want to grow. And last but not least, that is really important for me personally, We want to make sure that we are a preferred employer with a very high employee satisfaction in India.
You mentioned about this term frugal engineering, and which has been, globally acclaimed when it comes to in the Indian engineering talent. Do you think this frugal engineering strength can also be leveraged towards developing solutions which are not only cost effective, but also contribute significantly towards, let's say, the carbon neutrality or the sustainability goals in various kind of areas, maybe?
Certainly. I mean, there is no limit. Yeah, I think to really fulfill the targets of climate protection, we need all the creativity and all the ideas of our people globally. Yeah? And as I mentioned, I mean, our Indian colleagues are very well known for being very innovative, very creative, and finding solutions that really the market needs. So yes, definitely.
And in terms of, you mentioned about positioning the goal of becoming the number 2 supplier in India, and towards that, what are the kind of technologies that ZF is betting on to be a kind of a game changer, let's say, in the automotive industry in India and maybe as globally also?
Well, it's a global approach, and I think we are all aware vehicles of the future will be electric, software-defined, and autonomous. Yeah? So the shift to electric mobility is well underway. Software-defined may rather be kicking in starting 2025, and the arrival of autonomous driving full autonomous driving will maybe take a little longer. So if we look at e-mobility, ZF already recognized the disruptive potential of e-mobility 10 years ago. And we knew even then that all vehicles will one day be electric. We just didn't know exactly when. And if we look at today, we are a full range supplier of electrification solutions for all vehicle types, from passenger cars to trucks and buses. We anticipate currently that by the end of the 2030s, we will only supply fully electric vehicles. And if we look at our very strong order books, we actually think that by the end of the decade, we will have even stronger business in e-mobility than before with combustion engine-related components.
Right.
When we look at software-defined vehicles, we have geared up our portfolio and are already providing corresponding system solutions and high-performance computers, software, intelligent sensors, and smart actuators. Yeah? And also the customers in the commercial vehicle sector, they are turning to our software solutions, for example, for fleet management. They use the telematics solutions for trailers, with which they gain better insight into their actual use via networked services. And the third aspect, the autonomous driving, all vehicles will drive autonomously and no longer depend on human drivers. We just don't know exactly when. Yeah? As autonomous vehicle is the most complex robot that scientists and engineers will ever build, from my point of view. Yeah? It's certainly more difficult than flying to a planet, yeah, to have a fully autonomous vehicle. So that is actually why ZF has decided to take a step-by-step approach. Yeah? So we started with lower complexity levels that could be put into serious production. And that is why actually we have a very high market share for our cameras and radars that provide level 2 and level 2 plus autonomy. And now we are enhancing step by step, for example, with our level 4 shuttles, which drive themselves without driver interaction and are used for public transportation, even though initially only operating in low complexity situations. Yeah, we have to say. But by 2024, 25, we want them to run even in mixed traffic. Yeah? And towards the end of the decade, we aim to have shuttles capable of handling full complexity. And by the way, you can, for example, already experience the driverless shuttles of our company To Get There, which we acquired in 2019 in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, in the Rivium Business Park. So they are already on the road.
I had an opportunity a couple of years ago, before the pandemic, to experience them firsthand in one of our kind of technology showcase events in Germany. So it's good to see that they are flying on the roads currently.
It's impressive, absolutely.
Talking about the various megatrends, electrification is kind of creating the maximum impact, or has kind of developed more than the rest of the megatrends. And it is, and the future is electric, is what the overall automotive industry believes in. Apart from beyond the electrification megatrend, there's also in some quarters the discussion around the prospects of synthetic fuel, which is again a carbon neutral. It could contribute to carbon neutrality significantly without much investment or reinventing the wheel for the automotive industry. What is ZF's view on the prospects of synthetic fuels?
Well, I mean, ZF relies on a broad portfolio of technological solutions for reducing CO2 emissions. And we have always pointed out that we would appreciate the principle of technology neutrality in politics. Because from our point of view, competition for the best solutions actually drives innovation. And we are convinced, and studies actually are underlining that only through the coexistence of different technology paths, ambitious climate targets can be met. So for example, our plug-in hybrids with a very high electric range are the suitable and socially accepted bridging technology to pure e-mobility with a low financial risk for consumers. And that is why ZF's focus for new cars is on electrification, but not only on pure battery electric vehicles, but also on plug-in hybrids. Actually, I'm driving a plug-in and I really love it because I can really drive to work, which is only like 5 to 6 kilometers per day, back and forth, fully electric. But if I want to do a long trip from my second home, which is 800 kilometers, I can rely on the combustion engine. So it's a perfect combination. However, I mean, you were asking regarding the synthetic fuels. If we look at the very ambitious sector targets, from our point of view, it is right and important to pull out all the stops to reduce CO2 emissions. So for existing fleets in particular, CO2 reduction is only possible with e-fuels. And that is actually why we see these as a very interesting and important supplement for electrification.
And also, you are also the chief human resources officer for the ZF Group. Sustainability, carbon neutrality, while these are very, these are targets, but there has to be alignment when it comes to the mindset. And it's the people who will kind of deliver the goods when it comes to achieving these goals. How are you kind of building this, aligning everyone to have this same mindset of really pressing forward to achieve more sustainability and be carbon neutral and meet the goals set by the company?
Well, that's actually an easy topic because people, our employees, they are absolutely enthusiastic about the topic. And it is not like I have to tell them from top that this is now an important topic and we have to work on that together. No, I mean, what we have done, obviously, as I said at the beginning, we have really very prominently put this topic into our strategy. So it is one of the major pillars for ZF to become carbon neutral by 2014. Everybody knows and everybody is super enthusiastic about that. So we have, of course, adapted our organization. So we have people responsible in all our divisions, in all markets, that really focus on opportunities beyond the technical aspects that we already talked about earlier. I have in my HR group, we have established a group where people exchange ideas. It can be just small topics, how we can make a difference, in daily life. So everybody is working on that. Of course, we communicate a lot. We have a specific organization that is responsible for the whole topic. We have a communication campaign. We involve our people. We ask them to hand in good examples. So there is a lot of engagement and activity going on. And people don't need to be pushed. They are self-motivated on this topic.
So Sabine, you touched upon a very interesting point of kind of technologies that are that should be adopted to have cleaner mobility or next-gen mobility. There should not be one particular technology that should be picked up. So that is also kind of in line with what's the Darwinism theory. So do you think the industry should put more efforts to kind of educate or kind of convince the lawmakers across various nations to kind of keep it technology neutral, but give very maybe stringent targets, and let the industry decide what technology or what mix of technologies they would like to pick to achieve that?
Yeah, I can. It's a rather simple question. Definitely yes. And we as ZF, we are investing a lot of time and energy in talking to politicians on EU level, but also in Germany. I just had, I think it was last year, a discussion in Brussels with some politicians about the plug-in hybrid, explaining them what the advantages are, why we are convinced that this is really a bridging technology that the world needs. Yeah, if you look at how slow the infrastructure is developing. And if we look beyond Europe and Germany, where of course we have a very high focus on improving the infrastructure as a basic for electric mobility, then that's certainly needed, yes. And politicians need to look at what is the reality, and we of course need to help them by explaining the technological background. Definitely.
Indeed. And then when it comes to the people, do you kind of observe any kind of difference in the level of appetite or sensitivity when it comes to topics like sustainability or carbon neutrality between, say, let's say, the developed markets and the developing markets?
Well, I think we have to differentiate. One is the mindset and the expectation of the people. And I think people are enthusiastic about climate protection everywhere. Yeah, I mean, as we talked earlier before we started the interview, look at India, look at the heat wave, look at how people suffer from that. And that's clearly a signal for climate change. And we have to stop that. So people's mindsets are on that. When we look at the question on how new technologies will actually be implemented in the different markets, then we have to say that some technical developments certainly can only be implemented if they are accompanied by the according development of infrastructure. Yeah? And therefore, we might see that transformation is going to be materializing at different speed level in different markets. Yeah? But what is important, this comes really with the responsibility to ensure high standards all over the place concerning the environment and the people around us. And if I may say that as a last sentence to wrap up our interview, I think we at ZF, we have the experience and we have the technology to really play an important role in shaping the next generation of sustainable mobility for the whole world.
Indeed, very well said there, very well said in terms of, yes, everyone, all stakeholders have to kind of pitch in their efforts, and in this very disruptive and innovative era, collaboration is increasingly becoming the name of the game. And in fact, when it comes to a global kind of goal of carbon neutrality or sustainability, I think it's only expected that everyone kind of join hands together, be it government, be it industry players, be it end users as well. So I think with what you have shared, I think there are very good efforts towards achieving towards advancing the goal towards the goal of carbon neutrality. So on that note, Sabine Jaskula, thank you very much for sparing your time for this very interesting and insightful conversation. Wishing you and all at ZF all the best with your efforts, and take care and goodbye. And to all of you, thank you very much. And to all our viewers, thank you very much for watching this episode of Target Net Zero. Please take care and stay safe, and goodbye.